let's go. Wait. Hold on, Q.
Feel like I'm at the tippy top of my game, looking down at the rafters. I had to son these boys, can't leave them bastards. A lot of dudes, just some undercover actors. I don't fall for it, I'm privy to all your tactics. Yeah, so try again, this time take a vitamin.
Has come. We have reached the summit. It's not basketball time, or it's not football time anymore. It's basketball time in Tennessee, and Torch Sports is on the court with you all season long.
Yeah, we are.
I'm Alex Carpenter with your 2025-26 men's basketball cast, which is a loaded lineup. We're talking Sophie Starkey over there, Jack Glennon over here, and right beside me to my left, I've got Alexi Cowan. Just a stacked crew, folks.
I'm so excited to be here with you, Alex. Not as much Jack, but I love Sophie. I can't wait to argue with you guys.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Sophie, we might have to watch out for these
I
two.
know. We're going to be moderating these two arguments.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. But we are just diving into regular season play with a almost brand new team and a brand new roster with many new faces on the court list this year. Let's take a look at some of them. This season, Tennessee lost a beloved group in Zakai Ziegler, Jemai Mashak, Chaz Lanier, Jordan Gainey, Igor Milicic Jr., and Darling Stone Dubar. All seniors aging out of the program. That's 6 if you're counting. Many fans are thinking this might be it for Rick Barnes. Last season might be his swan song, and he would go out with a bang with Ziegler and company. But he said, not so fast, my friends. I'm getting to a Final Four, and to do that, he's bringing in one of the top recruits in the country, Nate Ament, the highest recruit in Tennessee basketball history. He's also bringing in an East Tennessee native in Jacoby Gillespie.
Greenville Devil.
A Greenville Devil and a Maryland transfer, and 4-star recruits in Dwayne Brown and Amari Evans, and 3-star recruits in Troy Henderson and Clarence Masamba. But that's not it, folks. This is a brand new team. We've got Vanderbilt transfer Jalen Carey, Louisiana Tech transfer Amari Abram, and an Israeli professional basketball player in Ethan Berg.
We went worldwide.
Ethan Berg played against Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
There you go. So, looking at last season, that was a team that people were thinking might go all the way. You lose to Houston in the Elite Eight, a heartbreaker. How does this group shape up?
They have every tool to be just as successful as they were last year. Look at, you got, what? Don't start with me yet. We have a seasoned point guard who made it to the Final Four with Maryland. We have 5-star freshman who's ready to learn. He's coming in. He's ready to go. 4 returners for revenge. A coach that is desperate to win a Final Four so he can finally go to sleep and retire. We've got a fan base that is paying full attention to this because they hate football right now. So they're paying full attention to basketball right now. What do you got to lose?
No, this team is going to be, in my opinion, significantly worse. They have the same issues carrying over from a year ago. 36 personal fouls in 2 games. Gave up 27 free throws to Duke, who made 25. You lose by 7. That's the game. That is absolutely the game. Okay, well, you have another 18 personal fouls against Mercer. You get out-rebounded by Duke. You have Cameron Boozer getting 23 rebounds by himself. Where is Felix Okpara? The rebounding and the personal fouls are an issue that just carried over. I don't think they have the leadership they had last year with Zakai Ziegler and Chaz Lanier.
But Jack, don't you think it's just a little too soon to tell, though? We're 2 games into the season. That group was so good chemistry-wise, but they had, several of those guys are seniors, had 4 years to build that. Rick Barnes recruiting, he's one of the best recruiters in the country, in my opinion. He has handpicked all of these players for a specific reason. Naturally, it's going to take time for them to develop, especially the freshmen coming in. These new guys, they need reps with this team. They're still looking to find a solid rotation. Naturally, when they get that, the development's going to flow naturally, and they're going to get better.
I don't disagree, but the question wasn't if it's too soon. The question was, does this team have the potential to go the same distance they went last season? And right now, based off what I've seen, which is all I have to base it off of, they don't.
Here's the thing, why do you play exhibitions? So you can lose and it doesn't count. And that's why Rick Barnes chose Duke. That was the perfect team to pick, so they could lose.
Tennessee played Duke in an exhibition last Sunday, and it was an 83-76 final. Tennessee ran out of steam late. Cam Boozer, one of the top players going into this season with 24 points on the night, and the freshman sensation in Ament, suiting it up for the first time in college, had a quiet 14 points. Do you really think that that game is an indicator? We saw this same Tennessee team lose to Indiana in an exhibition to start last season.
I mean, look, Nate Ament, not only does he have 14 points, that doesn't tell the whole story. He's 5 for 19 in the game. He is 5 for 19 from the field. It's not acceptable. And Rick Barnes told us after the game, it is the most physical game he's ever played in. That is true.
He's not used to this.
He's not.
He also said he's learning how to be a perimeter player. It's just a whole new design for him that he's going to have to get used to. Yes, he's a 5-star, but there's got to be a little bit of grace that Rick Barnes is seeming to give him. He doesn't seem worried at all, so I feel like I have no reason to worry.
When you play Duke as your first game as a freshman, you're going to get slapped in the face. That's just the point of it.
I'm not concerned with the 5 for 19. I'm concerned with the quality of those 19 shots. It was bad shot selection. That's plain and simple. The shot selection was unwise, contested shots. I didn't like the shot selection. I don't mind the loss for the Volunteers. I don't like the way they lost.
Fair enough.
I agree with that.
But that was, again, the first game of the season that does not count, that the crowd got to see this Tennessee team against Duke. On Monday night, Tennessee hosted the Mercer Bears. Do you know where Mercer is located? Anybody? Anybody off the top of your head? Don't look at the prompter now.
Guilty. I
We
don't
all
know.
looked at the
I did not
prompter.
know.
Do not know.
I did not know.
Macon, Georgia, which is weird. Why is it Mercer if it's in Macon? You know,
They need mercy.
they may have needed a little bit of mercy because the Volunteers
Help.
got back on track with a 76-61 victory. But Coach Barnes was not very impressed. Here's what he had to say.
We knew they were going to be scrappy, try to drive us, all that, but still, as post guys, I mean, you're 7 feet tall, you don't put the ball down by your knees at any point in time. Those type things are really, it's just unacceptable. I mean, think about it. We gave away 19 opportunities. Who knows what we could have done with that? We just give them away. But again, we got the ball inside, and I think our post guys have got to do a better job. But we had too many point-blank shots that we weren't even close.
Look, with a Rick Barnes team, you're always going to have physical defense, and that's great until physical defense manifests itself as personal fouls, sloppy, physical defense. It's good when you're in a dogfight of a game, but when you're playing a team like Duke with big bodies like Cam Boozer, 18 personal fouls in both of the first 2 games, that is a result of the aggressive physical defense Tennessee plays. So it's a blessing and a curse.
100%, but when I looked at Mercer, I really didn't think that the point differential was as much as I thought it would be, and the turnovers, my gosh. Tennessee had 19 turnovers compared to Mercer that had 5. That's got to stop. It's got to stop. Sloppy passes. Everybody was in such a rush. A big-time rush, might I add. But, you know, you'd think they lost their footing. No, they lost their handing. Their hands were everywhere. Catches were everywhere. Everybody was running in 2 times speed. And you can slow down against Mercer, I think. Take a chill pill. But
Yeah.
something that I thought looked phenomenal was my guy, JP Estrella. This was his night to show everybody what they missed last year and what they have to be excited about this year. 12 points, 5 rebounds. I want to see him rebound a little bit more, but I've been excited about this guy since his freshman year. He's the juice of this team, and it's evident. And he's now one of the only vets of this team. And I think if he can figure out how to band his team together and be a leader, it's going to be really, really good for the Tennessee program.
And another player that I want to highlight is Nate Ament. There has been a lot of talk and speculation. He's a 5-star. He should be going in and putting up 30 points in X, Y, and Z, and a lot of people truly believe that. But for his college debut against Mercer, he led the team with 18 points. Call it what you will. That's not enough, or that's too little. He still led the team as a freshman. He also had 9 rebounds. So the exhibition match, he had a double-double, and in Mercer, the first true game, he was 1 rebound away from a double-double. He's the 5th freshman in Tennessee basketball in the last 2 decades to reach those numbers. So I think people need to cut him a little bit of slack. Yes, he's had turnovers. His shooting percentage is not the greatest, but like Rick Barnes said, he's not worried about him at all. He's learning how to be a perimeter player, by far the toughest atmosphere he's ever had to play in, and he's already putting up numbers like this. The first game, he led the team in rebounds. The second game, he led them in points. So people need to get off his back a
Let
little
the
bit.
guy learn. I mean,
Yeah.
when you come from high
Naturally.
school, I mean, you've watched some high school basketball. It is not compared
No, it
to the
does not.
physicality. Jack, did you play high school basketball?
I did. I was a 2-year varsity basketball player, and it is nothing like college basketball.
And
in the
imagine
slightest.
he's also coming from being the best the best of the best.
He was the guy.
He was the guy to this atmosphere where he's only a little bit taller than everyone else. You know, he's still taller than everyone else, but he's definitely, it's going to take some time to adjust to that for sure. I think people need to cut him a little slack because imagine where he's going to be at SEC play. He's putting up these numbers now.
And not even that, just like coming in as the guy. I mean, you're not used to this kind of lights on you. I mean, how many people come to a high school basketball game? What would you say, Jack? How many people were there for your senior
mine,
night?
I mean, for my senior night, probably 200 people. 200 people.
So he's getting used to it.
Yeah.
So Ament with 18 points in his debut,
his
18
debut.
points in his debut, 15-point victory for the
doesn't
Volunteers. Now we want to head over to your basketball play-by-play guys. Nick Rose and Charlie Fernandez. They're going to be breaking down all the details this season. Let's get a Mercer recap, guys.
Thanks, Alex. Well, the Tennessee Volunteers definitely shined, even though there were some hiccups in there. There were some players who shined in this one. We're going to take a look. Nate Ament missed opportunity. They're going to go on a fast break. Who's in the lead? Ament. He's going to see the defenders, got his weight turned. What is he going to do? Euro step, right in for the easy bucket for 2. Once again, Ament backing down the defender, one-on-one. He's got a huge size advantage and mismatch on him. He's going to go up strong on the young fellow right here and put it in for 2 to give the Tennessee the lead once again. Ament shined in this one once again. He's going to back down the defender. He sees he doesn't have help from the other defenders. He's got an advantage to the left. What is he going to do? Take the ball, spin move, put it in for the easy 2 once again. Now, Rick Barnes loves using this play with Don't Connect and Chaz Lanier. Inbound play, open 3 in the corner. Ament cashes in for 3. Now, he wasn't the only one who shined. There was other players who shined, including Jacoby Gillespie. Nick?
Thank you, Charlie. Jacoby Gillespie, first game back in East Tennessee. Phenomenal game from him, 8.6 assists, not as much scoring as you might want to see, but he was facilitating the ball. Here, pin down screen, as we said, Rick Barnes, you can't leave a good shooter that open. Great job working up and with the V-cut there. Here, gets trapped in the corner, gives the ball up to Cade. I want to pause right here. Defenders stop. Jacoby keeps running, gets an easy lane to the basket out of this, switches to the left, easy layup. Just can't give a defender or offensive player that much space. Here, driving, double team. What does he do? Dumps it off to Jalen Carey, who finishes it for the tough and one. So versatile while driving. That's why they have to have 3 guys trying to stop him. Wide open, Felix Okpara cutting. The big man wants it up top, slams it down with emphasis. Look, Jacoby Gillespie performed fantastically in this game. Look for him to continue being a lot of a facilitator and a scorer for the Vols. Alex, back to you.
Lots of Tennessee Volunteers getting a good start to the season underway. Now, we already mentioned that loss to Duke, but there's some scarier opponents on the horizon and games that are going to count. Facing the number 2 Houston Cougars on the 25th, the same Cougars that ruined the Volunteers' Final Four chances earlier this year. Just a couple weeks later, they're hosting Louisville, who's number 11 in the polls right now, and not to mention traveling to Gainesville to face the reigning national champions at the beginning of the year. All these and more in the distance for Tennessee.
I think when you look at it, the polls don't matter as much as you think. I mean, look at Florida. They're number 3 right now, and they lost to number 13. I don't look at these polls anymore because I don't trust them. I don't believe them.
I mean, what else are you judging who the best teams are on? I mean, you look at Arizona, you mentioned that they beat Florida, and that's a bad loss for Florida. Arizona's been a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament the last 4 seasons, including 2 times as a number 1 seed. Coach Tommy Lloyd is running a great program over there. They're a great defensively sound team. They're a perennially good program. They're competitive. They will play up to their competition against any opponent. That includes Florida, and if they match up with Tennessee in March Madness, it will include Tennessee as well.
Yeah, and all of this is true, but in all honesty, I don't think Rick Barnes cares. I don't think Rick Barnes is thinking about these games. They're really far in the future. He's thinking about the next practice, the next week, because the way Tennessee prepares for basketball is faceless opponents. The preparation does not change. Maybe the film room does and the matchups do, but other than that, they're going to train just as hard now as they're going to in March Madness. A couple things need to happen maybe now for Tennessee to get a little bit better. The newcomers need to get more reps, and the offensive efficiency, like Jack knows, needs to go up a little bit, especially that shooting percentage, free throws, and then the development and team chemistry. That can all happen now, but these games are so far in the future, and the prep's going to stay the same.
What I'm looking for is the rebounds all season. If you out-rebound a team, you are going to win. Now, when you look back, Mercer. Tennessee almost doubled Mercer's rebounds, 54 to 32. Now,
Big whoop. It's Mercer.
can you listen? Duke out-rebounded
positivity
Jack.
from Jack.
Duke out-rebounded Jack. They did.
They
They would
would.
have. They
They
would have
certainly
out-rebounded
would.
you.
Oh.
Duke out-rebounded the Vols 48-39. Who won that matchup? Who won? Duke.
Yeah.
So, I need some post players to get in there.
Yeah, Houston was 100th in the nation in rebounding last year, but they don't turn the ball over. Just 3 turnovers in that Elite Eight game against Tennessee last season.
With that being said, we got to move on. But we're going to know before the turn of the year, when we get to 2026, what this Tennessee basketball team is made of. With those big-time games that we saw on the graphic, we will know if Rick Barnes has a team that can compete like last year's Elite Eight squad could.
They're singing that song right now. What was I made for?
You're all you.
Who's
Alexis.
they?
All you.
Anyway,
Anyways, tomorrow night, Tennessee's going to get a crack at Northern Kentucky for a Saturday game at 3 p.m. But before that, tonight, the Lady Vols come back to the Food City Center to host an in-state foe in ETSU after a heartbreaking loss to NC State on Tuesday. We've got your brand new women's basketball cast here to break it all down for you. Coming up next on Torch Sports. Don't go anywhere.
Mom was always very self-sufficient, but we started noticing things were off.
I was forgetting my responsibilities at work.
I told Mom we should visit a doctor.
Alzheimer's. It was hard to hear that.
Early detection gave us time to seek information and support as a family. I've never felt more connected with Mom.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
When a child is fighting a critical illness, one truth touches us all. Every child deserves a childhood. A wish sparks a ripple of hope that transforms communities far and wide. And when we grant wishes together, we create a movement of kindness, strength, and unity. Become a wish maker today and be part of a journey that truly changes lives.
Since 1888, the National Geographic Society has championed generations of explorers to conserve ecosystems, share stories, and deepen understanding of every species. Today, it's more urgent than ever to illuminate and protect the vibrancy of our world, because there's always another wonder for us to explore. Will you join us? National Geographic Society. Wonder awaits.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. And now is our time. Time for unbeatable experiences, for bold innovation, for historic moments. It's time to do what Vols do best. More life-changing research, more problem solving, more lighting the way. We have what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
We're back. Did you miss us? Welcome back to the desk of Torch Sports. And this time around, we have an even more loaded desk. I'm glad we got rid of those guys on the men's basketball cast. I'm telling you what. Welcome back to the continual breakdown of Hoops on Rocky Top. I'm Alex Carpenter, and this time I'm joined by Lauren Gimpler and Taylor Langford. Hey. Yeah, glad to have you guys.
Yeah, glad to be here.
For sure.
The Lady Volunteers return to the hardwood this week after a 220-day drought, and year 2 of the Kim Caldwell era began. Reflecting on last season, her first year on Rocky Top was a promising one as she guided her club to a 24-10 overall record, along with carding notable wins over Florida State, Iowa, Ohio State, and the eventual NCAA champion, UConn. The Lady Vols would advance to the Sweet 16 and finish the season ranked 15th in the AP poll. Did I also mention she had a child during all of this as well? Now, Caldwell's initial team at Tennessee set school records for SEC, or for points at 139, three-pointers made at 30, and three-pointers attempted at 63 in a game. I mean, just look at that. That is absurd.
Incredible.
Unreal. So after watching last season's strides and just seeing how much of a spark that Caldwell provided through one season, what should expectations be in year 2 for Tennessee?
Well, Alex, that's a really high bar to set in your freshman year as a coach. But I think the Lady Vols are expecting nothing less. Sure, you lost 2 starters in the 2024-25 out of that season, Jewel Spear and Samara Spencer. But you also returned Talasia Cooper, who has been phenomenal so far this season, and we'll discuss that later, as well as Z Spearman. on top of that, the number one in ESPN transfer portal rankings, including Janiah Barker, the 2025 Big Ten Sixth Player of the Year, Nia Robertson, the All-ACC second team, and Jersey Wolfenbarger. So there's plenty of talent despite the losses from last year.
Oh, agreed. The standards are high, but that's because Kim Caldwell set that for herself last season, beating Ohio State, beating UConn, getting back to the Sweet 16. So the expectation to get back there, to make a run in the tournament, for sure. But it's the depth that I'm going to look at. Kim Caldwell, we have seen her system. She loves to get everyone on her team involved. She played 11 players against NC State on Tuesday. You mentioned the transfers. Kim Caldwell has the #2 freshman recruitment class. Starter on Tuesday against NC State, Mia Paldo. She is going to be incredible for this team. And now Kim Caldwell has a team that is ready to take the floor. And the depth is going to be the key for this team because she has a team of great athletes who are going to play aggressive and be ready to take the floor.
These are her players. This is her team now. She inherited some players from last year, but now she's got everyone she wants. I'm excited to see what she can do.
And you talked about Talijah Cooper. Kim Caldwell now has a year under her belt. She knows what to expect. She knows what's coming. Talijah Cooper is going to be a leader for this team. She knows what to expect. She can be someone that can step up and lead these freshmen, lead these transfers so that they have a dominant season that they are expected to have.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of question marks going into this season of Lady Vol basketball. We're talking the first time that the Lady Vol program has ever hired outside of the Pat Summitt coaching tree. We're talking a coach that has not really proven herself at the highest level. And now she's coming in with a brand new style, a brand new way to play, and she's changing the way in the culture that is in that Lady Vol locker room. I feel like she gave herself unfair expectations with how successful her first season was, but that's a good thing. Absolutely. It's a good thing for a coach to come in year one and do what she did. So the Lady Vols are trying to find what kind of team they want to be now that it is Kim Caldwell's players, as you mentioned. And the recruiting has just come in all the way. Mia and Maya Paldo, the twins, have been sensational to start. All of the transfers. People want to play for the Lady Vols. So let's take a look at some of these tough non-conference matchups coming up. This is a tough schedule, folks. You've got games versus UCLA, Stanford, along with a neutral site game in Brooklyn versus Louisville. Tennessee is going to know what they are made of before they reach SEC play. And did I mention that those games at UCLA and Stanford are on the road on a West Coast swing? That team will not come home in between those games. They're going to stay in California for a week before they come back to Knoxville. Out of all of these games coming up for the Lady Vols, which one will be the real litmus test for this team?
I think it's UCLA. Look, this is a great program. They made it to the Final Four last year, fell to UConn, but they're ranked #3 right now. And here's the thing. UCLA, their first 8 games, 6 of them are neutral site games. When Tennessee has to go play UCLA, it's at UCLA, they go there. This is UCLA's 3rd home game, and it's starting a 4-game homestand for them. That crowd is going to be loud. The crowd is going to be in it. Tennessee, and it should be a ranked matchup, Tennessee is going to have to come in there and really focus and really nail down some of these inconsistencies and mistakes that we saw against NC State if they want a chance to win that game. Now, they're also going to have to lock up UCLA star player Lauren Betts. She is projected to be the #1 draft pick in the WNBA. She's their leading scorer. She shot 65% from the field last season. They are going to have to find a way to hold her back, but also UCLA has a lot of, that's just a good team. They're going to have to play their best basketball, and it's at the end of the month, so they have time to fix some things up, but I think UCLA is going to be a big test for this team.
Absolutely. The Lady Volunteers have the most difficult schedule in the nation. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They play the top 6 team in the preseason AP Top 25, which, of course, that can shift throughout the season, 7 of the top 10, and 11 total ranked squads. Talk about a gridiron that Kim Caldwell, that Kim Caldwell and this team has to play. I'm a little farther. On February 1st, we are at #1 UConn. This will be when the Tennessee Volunteers are in midseason form, and that's when we will truly see what the Lady Vols are made of. You're going into March. And UConn has a lot of questions as well. They lost their leadership in Paige Beckers. They're looking for someone to step up to fill that role. They have the talent, but who's going to be that leader? So this game is going to be huge as far as, tournament implications, SEC implications, things like that.
And that game always has big stakes. I mean, that is a rivalry going all the way back to the Pat Summit days. And the fact that Tennessee got the win last year in Kim Caldwell's first season on Rocky Top, that's going to be a really good game.
They'll be out for blood, no doubt. But I'll tell you a game I'm excited for. On Sunday, the Lady Vols are traveling to Martin, Tennessee to play in the Pat Summit Heritage Classic. That's near my hometown, the Tom and Kathleen Elam Center in Martin, Tennessee. The Skyhawks are hosting the Lady Vols. Just say that out loud for a second. That should not. Oh, you were actually going to say it.
We were ready.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The Skyhawks are
hosting the Lady Vols. There we go.
That's crazy to think about. That gym is a very small gym. It's going to be packed full of Lady Vol faithful. I'm so excited to see that. I would encourage you to tune in.
Rocky Top's going to be echoing off the walls.
Absolutely. Tennessee had its first test of the season already in game number 1, starting out with a game against number 9, NC State. Let's send it over to Nick Rose and Charlie Fernandez to break down what happened for us. Guys. We're going to keep rolling then, folks.
Well, thank you, Alex. The Lady Vols did have their first test, as you mentioned, against the NC State Wolfpack. Did not come out successful. However, looking to replace a lot of production lost by Ruby Whitehorn's dismissal from the team. Freshman point guard Mia Caldwell stepped up big here, a little step back off the drive. Lots of space created, easy shot for her, really buckets. 5'6", she's hustling and getting these rebounds in this tough paint with these giants.
Love the hustle.
Really good hustle there. Here, her threat to drive leaves an open Talasia Cooper open on the perimeter. That's an easy shot for her, easy money in this Kim Caldwell scheme. Finally, as I said, her threat to drive has the defender in there. What does she do? Blows right by her for an easy layup, gives the Vols the lead late, but she wasn't the only guard to step up in Ruby Whitehorn's dismissal, was she?
That's right. No, Talasia Cooper was someone else who shined in this game against the Wolfpack, despite the loss. Now, Talasia Cooper was their leading scorer. She also forced a couple of steals in this game. Go ahead and take a look here. Forced the steal, didn't show up on the stat sheet. What does she do? Once again, just like Ament, Euro step in for the 2. Talasia Cooper here once again. She's going to see she's got room right here. She's going to cut right into the paint. And this is a veteran presence on this team. Are we talking Lady Vols without talking Talasia Cooper? Now, top of the logo. She's going to see, switches into her offhand, gets the ball. Talasia Cooper is going to take it in for the easy 2 to give the Vols a 7-point lead. Lastly, she's getting triple team right here. What does she see? Cutting number 33. She's going to dish it right to her. Takes it in for 2 for the Volunteers. Now, Talasia Cooper shined in this game. She led Tennessee last year with 103 steals for the team. Tennessee will go on to play ETSU tonight in their second non-conference game. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate your hard work over there. And again, on Tuesday, as we've mentioned, in Greensboro, North Carolina, Tennessee Lady Vols went head-to-head with the Wolfpack. The best way to describe this game would just be back and forth. Both teams were trading blows. These were heavyweight top 10 teams. They were showing the audience why they deserved that ranking. This was a game that saw 11 lead changes and 8 players total scoring in double digits. It came down to the final moments when transfer sensation Camille Pierre made the go-ahead layup in the final minutes, and Tennessee would get the ball back down 3 with 1.9 seconds on the clock. A timeout would advance the ball to half court, where Talasia Cooper would have trouble inbounding the ball, having to force it to Mia Paldo, who had a great game up to this point. It would be off target though, and Tennessee would fall in game 1 by 3. As you can see here it is, 1.9 on the clock. It goes to Paldo. She's just in a rough spot, has to throw it up underhanded. No good. Tennessee falls. Now last season, the Lady Vols rattled off 24 wins and a Sweet 16 berth. Now, they start off this season with a tough loss. Is this demoralizing?
No, not at all. This is exactly why Kim Caldwell and the organization scheduled this game. Look, these are two teams that are pretty interchangeable. AP has us at the 8th ranked. They have NC State at the 9. Coaches Bowl has us at the 9th ranked and has NC State at the 8th. So these are two teams that have a lot of talent, but just have questions. NC State is a team that will go far in March, no doubt about it, even in the words of Kim Caldwell. So I'm going to look at the things to fix here, even though I'm not in Jack Glennon's seat. I'll let you do the positives here. The press did not work as well as it should have. NC State, specifically Zoe Brooks, was able to pick apart the defense. There was a lot of backdoor passes. There was just no bodies in the paint to guard the shots. Also, 23 fouls. That is something, I'm not going to point fingers at the refs. They held their whistle a little bit when it came to NC State, but when playing such a physical defensive style, you've got to be able to play physical with discipline. And then lastly, crashing the board, specifically following your shot offensively. We just weren't able to get put back shots, and that led to those fast breaks, and NC State was able to pick us apart.
And before you go, just to mention on that ref point, a very soft technical foul in that one on Janiyah Barker, who made a three in the corner, made the a finger gun, something like this, and apparently put it in the direction of an NC State player. She got teed up for it. That normally doesn't happen in the SEC.
All Coach Caldwell said was called for taunting. She had to hold her tongue on that call.
Yeah, I don't think this is demoralizing. I'm okay to start the season 0-1 because NC State is a good team. The past 6 of 7 seasons, they have ended in the top 10 of the AP poll. It's a good team. Now, the fouls, the turnovers, the inconsistent rebounding, it has to be fixed. And Kim Caldwell is going to take that into practice. And by the next game tonight, hopefully they are 2, 3, 4 points better. Hopefully they can fix that. But I have to mention, Ruby Whitehorn, dismissed on Sunday. Would have been a starter. Would have been a starter. And this team had 48 hours to kind of, Kim Caldwell asked everyone to step up. 48 hours to adjust, do what they needed to do. And like you said, it was back and forth all game. The Volunteers had a chance to win this game. And a good team, they showed they're a good team. A great team would have won this game. So now they got to go become a great team.
The best way to do it, just have to keep practicing. And yes, Whitehorn would have contributed probably 15 points, would have been a starter, but you have to play with the cards you're dealt. That's going to wrap up Lady Vol discussion for now. Next up, the Lady Vols host ETSU tonight across the street at the Food City Center at 6 p.m. For Lauren, Taylor, I'm Alex Carpenter, and do not touch that remote because football talk is next.
Dear humans, I stand here today not for myself, but for every tail wagger, sloppy kisser, and curtain ninja. I stand here for each one of the thousands of dogs and cats killed in shelters each day, asking you to join our cause and help us make sure every best friend has a chance to meet one of their own. With Best Friends Animal Society leading the charge and your help, we can save them all.
When he has cancer in his brain.
It was like, why me? Why my child? But at St. Jude, it's a huge mental relief that all of my child's care is taken without any bills. It is a huge blessing.
It was all about keeping him alive, and it was all focused on him.
St. Jude is a place where my child's life was saved. It's like the holy place for me.
Did you know we waste as much as 40% of all the food we produce globally? Did you also know that each year, millions of acres of wildlife habitat are plowed over, and billions of gallons of water is guzzled up to produce that food? And your wallet is taking a hit too. Americans toss out more than $382 billion worth of food per year. That's a lot of waste. But did you know that there are simple things you can do to help? And spread the word that food should never be trash. Visit us at wwf.earth/foodwaste.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. And now is our time. Time for unbeatable experiences, for bold innovation, for historic moments. It's time to do what Vols do best. More life-changing research, more problem solving, more lighting the way. We have what it takes. It takes a Vol.
Welcome back to Torch Sports, ladies and gents. You remember us? Patrick Falcon, Luka Tal, and Jeremy II. They cannot get rid of us that easy. We are back here with much to unpack from the Tennessee Volunteer football team's stunning loss to the hands of the Oklahoma Sooners this past Saturday night under the Neon Lights. Heading into that evening, the fan base was hyped for their first night game of the year. We're talking about a packed house, dark mood uniforms on display. Everything was coming together except for their performance on the field. While Joey Aguilar had some big touchdown passes to wide receivers Braylon Staley and Mike Matthews, he did throw 2 interceptions that would come back to bite the team. The defense would eventually lose steam with John Mateer leading the pack and Tate Sandell going 4 for 4 on field goals from that night. The Sooners would once again stun the Vols in Neyland Stadium 33-27. So the way that this game ended, Tennessee, the fan base did not expect this outcome. So to say that they're disappointed is quite an understatement. And again, it comes back to showing consistency throughout the season, playing complementary football, helping both sides of the ball to succeed on the field, and that was not there at all on Saturday night. And with offense, defense, and special teams considered, there is much to blame for this outcome against the Sooners.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone is to blame per se, but there were a lot of wrongs that happened in this game. But looking at a little positive, the defense played phenomenally better than they had in previous games here. And the Oklahoma offense didn't score a touchdown until 2 minutes left in the third quarter. And that's not something that you've seen from this Tennessee defense here so far this season. Usually the story is the offense puts up points, but so does the other team, and the defense can't stop them, and they're just, that's where this team is lacking. But in this game, the defense held up strong. But you mentioned his name, Tate Sandell, the kicker for Oklahoma Sooners. He had himself a night and was the difference maker in this one. A 55-yard, 51-yard, and 40-yard field goal all in the second quarter, which just were absolute killers on the scoreboard. It's only 3 points each time, but that adds up to those 9 points that keeps them in that game to eventually have them take the lead in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, Tate did them Daisy Dukes too, I'll tell you, man. But when you look at the Tennessee team compared to the Oklahoma team, there were 2 players on Oklahoma's roster who you can argue were better than Tennessee's. That was quarterback John Mateer over Joey Aguilar, and that was kicker Tate Sandell over Max Gilbert. And really, when you play that good of a game and you still lose, to me it falls back on coaching, in my opinion. And you can make as many excuses as you want. Oh, that fourth down never should have been dropped. Oh, Max Gilbert never should have been put in position for that kick. Oh, Joey Aguilar needs to not throw those interceptions and have that big fumble. But eventually, the common denominator is the coaching staff. It's Josh Heupel. It's Tim Banks letting them rip off a 60-yard run to end the game and not even giving your offense another chance back on the field. And at one point, it just becomes repetition, becomes a pattern, and you can't escape that pattern at one point.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I do agree that so far the coaching this year has been a little questionable at times, but Josh Heupel's not out there throwing the ball. Tim Banks isn't out there playing defense. He can take the team so far, but then it's up to the team to actually put that into action. And on the point of Joey Aguilar, he had a good and bad game this year, and it was kind of weird to see the stat sheet because he threw for almost 400 yards, had 3 touchdowns, and put up more yards than all of Oklahoma's offense that entire game. But those 2 interceptions and the fumble that were momentum killers for the Vols. So he had an interesting game, but I agree, the coaching has been questionable, but this one I think falls on the players.
But you're supposed to be this offensive genius, and you outgain OU by over 100 yards, and you allow only 159 passing yards, which is the least Oklahoma has had in a game all year. And even with the turnovers, you still can't win that game. I mean, you're throwing to your third-string tight end on 4th down. That's just ridiculous. At one point, it becomes inexcusable because he is the common denominator through all the problems that Tennessee has had this year.
Well, what did we talk about going into this game is that in the Kentucky game, the turnover battle was what had the momentum for the Vols to win that game. Got dominated in the turnover battle in this one.
Yeah, that just goes back to showing consistency on both sides of the ball this year. Like Tennessee, they're at the top of the SEC in terms of points per game, but the defense, they have been lacking this year, giving up 30 points or more to every SEC opponent this year. And that also happened in this game, but early on, as you mentioned, the defense played good enough to win this game, but the offense cannot capitalize on those mistakes. But we'll see how they can fix that. How can they respond when they play against New Mexico State? Because the college football playoff run for the Vols may appear to be over. However, Coach Josh Heupel, he's still expecting his team to bounce back and stay competitive when they return to competition on November 15th. Let's listen to what he had to say this past weekend after the Oklahoma loss.
Ultimately, we're not in control of any of those things. We're in control of what we do. You got a choice to make. It's life. How are you going to respond? This group has competed. It's continued to try to get better every day. Expect and demand that of them as we get going.
Yeah, pretty much what Coach Heupel said. While some other teams, they may just want to call it quits and pack their bags, Coach Heupel is still wanting to see some fight out of this team. Because of what is left on their schedule, he is looking for his team to respond, which is not as easy as it sounds, especially with the 3 games left that they have on their schedule, the quality of competition. What is the message that he's trying to send to his players and his coaching staff to buy in, to staying competitive and finish the season on a high note?
I mean, let's just look at the New Mexico State game. That's basically a cupcake. So let's focus on Florida. And I mean, let's just be honest here. So let's look at Florida and Vanderbilt. If you cannot get up and get excited to go beat Florida and Vanderbilt, you should not be at this school. I don't care what your record is. You could be 0-9 and those are your last 2 games. If you don't have a little fire in you as the head coach, as the team, to go beat Florida and Vanderbilt, then you need to transfer. You need to leave. You need to get fired, because that is ridiculous. I think that's a message to this team. These are 2 of your biggest rivals. You have not beaten Florida in the Swamp since 2003, when most of these guys weren't alive. None of us at the desk were. And then you've beaten Vandy 19 out of the past 25 times. You want to own the state of Tennessee? You want to have the right to call Vanderbilt your little brother? Then you need to get up for these games. I don't care what your record is.
I agree with you, and Heupel said it perfectly. Like, the mindset has to be, what happened, right? And now we're looking forward to the rest of these last 3 games. You have a bye week to kind of compose yourself. Yes, playoffs are out of the picture, barring some miracle where all SEC teams change conferences or something. but even like you said, finishing like these last 3 games are so important just because they are rivalry games and they're so important to this program and this team. But also looking forward to next year. If you're the next year's team and this year's team finished 9-3 versus 7-5. That's a completely different mindset, in my opinion, looking forward to next season. And finishing 9-3 versus having those 2 extra losses and 7-5 closer to 500, that's a whole different mindset for next year's team.
And especially when you look at the youth of this team and the new era that is college football, how much are the donors going to want to give you a little more cheddar cheese for that NIL money? How many more guys in the transfer portal maybe want to stay put at Tennessee or possibly come home at Rocky Top? 7-5, even 7-6, you lose that bowl game compared to possibly 10-3 with a bowl win. Looks a lot different to recruits.
Yeah, you are setting the picture pretty much perfectly. I mean, how can he not get excited for these games against Florida and Vanderbilt? I mean, Tennessee hasn't beaten Florida in the Swamp since the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie came out. And Diego Pavia, he wants this rivalry to stay competitive again. Vanderbilt is on a different level this year, and Tennessee is going to get ready for that because their hopes of finishing with 10 wins is still on the line. But first, they must win out against the remaining opponents that lie ahead. And we mentioned a few of them already. New Mexico State, that's the next one coming up on November 15th, sporting their final edition of the Nike Smoky Gray uniforms and honoring our men and women in uniform. And they're going down the Gainesville. They are taking on a Florida Gators team that has had a few standout victories, if you will. And then 15th, Vanderbilt coming in to Rocky Top. Historically, again, Tennessee has dominated that series, but Vanderbilt is looking to get another win on their side of it. So with what Tennessee has coming up on the rest of the schedule, is it safe to say the Vols have a legit shot at finishing the season, winning out, going 9-3?
Do they have a shot? Yes. Will it happen? That's a little bit more up for debate. But like you said, New Mexico, you should expect to win that game if you're the Vols. But then you go down to the Swamp. Playing in the Swamp is tough. You mentioned haven't won in the Swamp since 2003. We talked about that with Alabama earlier this year. Go down to Alabama, don't get the win in that one. So that's an important game. And then Vanderbilt is not an easy opponent. This is a completely different Vanderbilt team from previous years. Both of those are tough matchups.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Luke. There's a shot. I mean, there's always a shot. There's a shot pigs fly tomorrow. But am I going to predict that that's going to happen? Absolutely not, because what has Tennessee done this year? To put it bluntly, they've disappointed us. I mean, they've disappointed the fan base not because of the losses they have, but the ways that they lose. And Florida, I mean, whether it's home or away, you're 3-7 in the past 10 years. You're tied 95th with 13 turnovers lost, and to win those games, you're going to have to play a lot cleaner football, which Tennessee has not proven they can do this year.
Yeah, so we're going to see how Tennessee can improve during the bye week and get ready for this last few stretch of games in the month of November. Well, that is all the time that we have for you today, but we'll have much more for you next week. And Tennessee is back from the bye and prepare for their first ever all-time meeting against the New Mexico State Aggies. For now, we're going to step aside and bring the basketball crew back up here right after this.
University of Tennessee has earned the term Everything School for their dominance across athletics, including club sports. But for most student club athletes, the cost of competition doesn't stop at tuition. It starts there.
The majority of our money comes through dues that us players pay. I mean, we spend more than a couple $1,000s a year on just hockey alone, whether it comes from expenses, travel, buses, hotels, food, equipment before and after the games. We have a lot of stuff that go into our organization, a lot of money. It's hockey equipment alone. I mean, these two right here are around $500, so it's an expensive sport.
Pretty much everything you can think of comes from our own money, I guess.
Tennessee women's lacrosse has to get creative in order to lighten their financial load.
And our funding is pretty much all just through our own either fundraising or through dues, which is hard because then we have to like up dues if fundraising doesn't go well, or we have to fundraise extra, which is time consuming.
It's tough, but we make do.
Despite sharing venues and paying dues, it's still worth it to them to be able to play the sport that they love.
It's kind of like you still love the sport. Everyone is doing it to make friends, still stay involved, stay active, do what you love. So I think that that's why people are willing to still pay for it.
I love hockey. I love pursuing it. And however much money I need to sink into pursuing the sport that I love, I'm more than happy with doing that, center of my parents and family, everyone around me.
There's still, however, an ongoing push to create change.
I hope in the future when I come back as an alumni, I can come back and be like, wow, I'm happy these guys don't have to pay.
If you're interested in donating to any of the club teams, every club sport will have links on their social media. If you're interested in donating to either of these two club sports, visit at Tennessee Hockey or at UTK Women's Lax.
We're back again. Did you miss us? Glad we could get those football cast bozos out of there.
So
because it's basketball time. It is basketball time in Tennessee, and I'm telling you, talk about a whirlwind of a show. It had some ups, it had some downs, but we got through it, and we hope that you enjoyed this first cast. I feel like for Lauren on the women's and Alexi on the men's, I think they went pretty well, don't you think?
I think it was great.
I had a great time.
I had a great time hosting both of them. Of course, we're just poking fun at the football cast. We've enjoyed listening to them all fall long, but come springtime, we'll be back for every week to talk hoops on Rocky Top. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Torch Sports. Make sure to stay tuned for next week's episode. You know where to find us. Give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok at Torch Sports UTK and on X at Torch Sports_UTK so you don't miss out on the fun times. For Alexi Cowan, Sophie Starkey, Jack Glennon, Lauren Edwards, Lauren Gimpler, Taylor Langford, I'm Alex Carpenter, and we thank you for watching. Enjoy your weekend. And in the bye week of football, no more sad times with Tennessee Volunteer football. It's basketball time. We will see you in the next episode.
Do we get to do an outro like the football team or the
What-
football
what-
cast?
what
They
do
go,
you do?
and that was
Well,
Torch
Torch
Sport. We
Sport.
gotta
Okay,
think.
let's go.
We'll think of something. We'll have it ready.
Let's just steal
Okay,
yours.
okay.
You got it?
And
that
that was Torch Sport.